It's been almost 3 years since the last time I've built a cold plunge using a horse trough, and it's absolutely incredible. I love it. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it doesn't have any filtration. It stays really cold, but the filtration sucks. Well, today we're gonna change that. We're gonna build a brand new cold plunge, save ourselves thousands of dollars, keep it nice and cold, and most importantly, nice and clean. I picked up on Facebook Marketplace a 1985 chest freezer. And really all I need this for is insulation purposes. This is what 175 bucks on Facebook Marketplace gets you. This is a 12 cubic foot deep freezer. Already I don't like that this doesn't open all the way back, but I'm 6'2", 200 pounds. I think this will be damn near perfect. I mean, yeah, the arms are extended a little bit, but you can kind of slouch down or go on the other side where there's no bench. Now, the only thing I'm not too thrilled about is the condition of the plastics. As you can tell, 39 years, it's bound to have all the cracks it will have. And also it's beat up on the side, so no matter how well I paint it, you'll still see all the cosmetic dings and all that stuff. But we're gonna change all that today. So I think first order of business is to remove anything and everything that I can, the badges. I'm gonna see if I can get these plastics off. Hopefully it's a solid piece, but I doubt. I'm pretty sure it's exposed. But we'll strip it all down, sand it as much as we can, and start doing some Bondo body work to fill this thing in. So that's about as much as I want to take down. This allowed for me to see where all the high spots and low spots. As you can see, this is one of going to be our bigger problems. These are small little dings, but I still want to get them all cleaned up. And I got two big corner ones in the back, which I'm not concerned, but since we're going to do the body work on it anyways, look at body work like we're doing shop repair. We might as well get them done. I think we got one big one here and then one corner there. Got some Bondo automotive stuff. Got to mix it up with a hardener. The nice thing is this stuff dries pretty quickly. Putty it on, sand it, and then maybe repeat the process 1 or 2 more times. I definitely put more hardener than I should have, but I'm trying to get through this in one step and not mess too much time. Now I got a big crack right here, and I don't know if this is gonna work, but Bondo is pretty tough. I wanna see if I could shape my own corner, because there's no way I'm gonna find a replacement part for this old of a freezer. Come on. We got probably another hour of the Bondo to dry, so while I'm not wasting time, I'm gonna start working on creating a liquid tight environment in here. Most freezers already have silicone and caulked corners. This one does for sure. If yours doesn't, make sure you do it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill my drain holes, pump holes, all the holes that I need for the plumbing, because I don't wanna have debris in there. I'm gonna then apply some Flexia liquid to make sure there's an added layer of protection of creating a liquid tight environment in here that nothing leaks towards my electronics or anything. I just punctured the Freon. This is officially just nothing but a chest cavity. I should get back. You don't want to be breathing that stuff. So I don't know if you could see it, but there's a little tube that looks like a copper tube that I cut right through, and that just let all the Freon escape. And I think the way these are set up is that these tubes are running like coils all the way through this insulation material. So, I mean, unless you have a way of detecting them, which I don't, you're gonna run into problems like this. All right, guys, over the last few years, we've been transforming our home with major home improvements from the inside and out. And the best part about it is that it all helps to increase the value of our home. Well, that is why I'm excited to talk to you today about Figure's HELOC. Whether you're revitalizing your home, consolidating high interest debt, investing in education, or fueling the growth of your business, a HELOC empowers you to turn aspirations into realities. So here's how it works. As you live in your personal home, and over time you increase its value, you build up equity in it. A great strategy to leverage that equity is to invest in more home improvements in your personal home, like a pool, a hot tub, a deck, or even a sauna. Whether you're planning a home renovation project, consolidating high interest debt, or funding your dream vacation to south of France, Figure's home equity line of credit can be the key to making it happen. For most HELOCs, people go through their personal banks, where their traditional HELOCs usually have variable interest rates that can change over time. Figure's HELOC provides fixed rates, making them the #1 non-bank HELOC in the US. And the process couldn't be any easier. Their 100% online application can be filled out in just minutes, with funding for your next project, debt consolidation, or education in as little as 5 days. With Figure's HELOC, the average homeowner could save up to $80,000 in interest with the HELOC over a cash-out refinance that you could find at your traditional bank. If this summer you're looking to do some backyard home improvements, buying that new work truck you've always wanted, a camper, Figure's HELOC competitive rates, they can help you do that. So if you have some ideas for your home or other goals, click the link in the description below and find your rate at Figure HELOC. Now, let's get back to this video. You know, at first I was kind of hesitant about putting anything else in here in terms of waterproofing just because it looks so clean. But then after the first coat of Flex Seal paste went on, or Flex Seal liquid went on, it's looking like a brand spanking new freezer. So for a 39-year-old to now a brand new one, I really like it. And it's gonna give that little texture, extra waterproof protection. I'm gonna let this coat dry, give it one more coat so it's not so translucent. And I think that part will be nice and ready for us in the next step. But in the meantime, I think the Bondo's dry, so let's start sanding that down. All right, I think it looks freaking cool. I do. I think we did the best we could with all these little transition pieces. I'm very happy with how the body showed up, even the corners that were dinged. Didn't realize I had it in me to do some body work like this. Kind of makes me wonder, should I do some like automotive restorations on this channel? But she's all ready for primer. This is an automotive self-etching primer, which is perfect for the metal. It'll create that etching for the primer to actually adhere to really strongly. Apart from that, I just realized I gotta tape off my seal because I don't want to get that all dirty, but in paint. But I think we're about ready. All right, so I think the primer is nice and dry and ready for paint. Paint, I swear, I just spent like 30 minutes just staring at paint. I was debating between, I know I wanted the hammered texture just because they're really tough on mailboxes. It gives it a little dimension. Besides, when we put Bondo on here, the freezers already have a little texture to them. So by the time you put Bondo on them, it smooths it out, so it's inconsistent. Kind of regret going black because it shows a lot of imperfections. I really wanted to go with brown, but I thought it might date this thing to make it look old again. So we'll go with this color because I'm gonna add some cedar accent stuff to it, which will make it pop, and it's gonna match the sauna anyway. So that's what we're going for. So full transparency here, this paint sucked. I don't know if it's user error, maybe I'm just terrible applying it. It was blotchy, super blotchy, but also the instructions say don't apply it when it's over 90 degrees and it was 95 in the sunlight. So that could have been the case. Didn't come out hammered at all, like the texture that's supposed to, and it was all blotchy. So I found out that they also have it in a liquid form, same hammered stuff, same exact brand. So I decided to roll on about 2 coats, and I did it already. It looks better. It's not blotchy. It looks like it's kind of hammering a little bit. You can see the separation of bubbles. That's how they kind of created. But there's one problem. Oh, and by the way, it's like 80 degrees right now. It's still morning in the shade. But because it's I'm gonna guess like an epoxy kind of paint, it doesn't blend in like traditional wall paint does. So you see the roller streaks. I'm not happy about it, but I'm optimistic that perhaps it'll cure and flatten out. But we shall see. It sucks because I did such a good job cleaning up, fixing all the dents, and then we have this issue. So this is our water chiller. This is an aquarium water chiller that I used on my horse trough cold plunge, the first version. It does a great job. It cools it down to 39 degrees. It does a good job as long as it's ventilated well. As soon as you cover it with like a cover to conceal it, it drops it into almost like 49, 50 degrees, which is still good, but I like it in that 39 range. And when it's like 80 degrees outside, it does a great job doing what it needs to do. This is a 1/2 horsepower. They're spendy. 1/4 horsepower, they're not enough, I think, to cool down the big volume of water we're dealing with. I bought it on eBay for about 600 bucks. Spendy, it's used, but a 1/2 horsepower, very happy with it. So if you're gonna do it, stick to 1/2 horsepower. What we're gonna do here, part of this design process is, I need to conceal this, number one. I need to conceal all my plumbing that I have right over here. I have 3 stages of filtration that we'll cover later. I have the ozonator, I have a UV cleaner, I have filter cleaners. I got a whole lot of plumbing here that will go in, that we'll do once everything's done. But we need to conceal everything. So I'm thinking about building a box out of cedar that'll have like a 3-tier that'll also act as steps. I'm 6'2", so to get into this, no problem at all. My wife's like 5'4". She's gonna have me be jumping into this thing. So to help her out and anybody else out, we're gonna build a 2-tier platform here. This is gonna get built up probably up to here, which will be cool because you could put a timer on there for the 3 or 5 minutes that you're gonna be in there. It's gonna act like a secondary step, and then another little platform here just to make sure this looks like a nice built-in unit. All right, we got the absolutely perfect dimensions. We have a nice 2-tier step thing going here. I went with 2x2 material just because I wanted to keep a smaller profile, and I think this is gonna be plenty strong. And the reason I think it's gonna be plenty strong is because the next step is we're gonna wrap this with cedar planks, and I wanna gap them out because I need this puppy to breathe, and besides I want the cool cleated look on the side. This is incredible. Now I did screw up, full disclosure. I should have planned ahead for the elevation of the steps so that these cleats would continue all the way through. But I don't think it looks terrible. I think, you know, it doesn't really catch the eye all that much. I'm also leaving the back exposed because for the water chiller, I wanted to have as much breathability as possible. Besides, all the plumbing is gonna go through here, so it's almost gonna be like wasted material. But I got one more board left. Hopefully it's enough to create a cleated system on top. I'm not gonna make it as wide. This is about a 1/4 inch gap. I think I'm gonna make it maybe like an 1/8. And maybe actually, I think a good idea would be make them tight so not as much water goes down. Even though this thing, it's meant to be taking water. Like there's all these seals on top here. This is pretty solid. I've had it rained on and completely worked just fine. Nobody got electrocuted yet. we've accomplished exactly what we want to accomplish, and damn, it looks freaking cool. Now, I'm going to give it a sand, round over some of these edges, and I'm going to hit it up with some boiled linseed oil. This is a great product to use on cedar. It covers oil particles right into those pores, so it doesn't discolor it. It makes it actually more contrasted, and it keeps it more weather resistant, or making it last a lot longer for time to come. Our steps and cover are done. The freezer is ready. Let's start working on the plumbing. So there's a slight problem here. I got these little watertight fittings that are meant to thread anything else you want on it, which I used on the cold plunge. But the problem is this is too thick for it to grab onto. If you're using a horse trough, they're pretty thin steel, so you could get it on perfectly. Here I can't. So the solution that I found, since it's steel or aluminum, whatever, probably steel on the outside and steel on the inside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out maybe almost like a utility box to the front, take the insulation of the front out, and then just leave the steel plate in the back there so this thing can actually grab onto something. And it won't look as pretty, but I can't find these to be any longer, really. Dang, I had no idea how many of these copper pipes are running through it. There's really actually, I don't think, a way to drill through without hitting one unless you have one of those thermal scanners so you can actually see the grid. But dang, they're all over the place. There's one, two, there's one, three coming down here, and I'm sure the next one's going up there. So it's probably this crazy grid line pattern. We're gonna start throwing these on. It's got a gasket on the inside, bolting these on. And the cool thing about these, they have threads. So you can thread a pump like we will, or you could thread any connector through it. I'm gonna throw a bead of 100% silicone around it just to make sure we have a double protection here. We don't want any surprises later down the road. This is my water getting poured out. This one's gonna be my water getting sucked in. These chillers don't have a pump built in. They only stay stagnant until you add a pump to it. So this one I've had for a long time. You can get these for fountains, water feature, stuff like that. So I'm gonna thread this on ahead of time and then feed it through and then tighten the nut from the other side. These are really hard to tighten. I needed a few more inches on my arms. All right, this is our water drainage, which in hindsight, I don't know why I need it since my pump is sitting so low. Well, actually I do need it because it'll be circulating to the bottom. So yeah, this is our drainage. Okay, so here's how our filtration system is going to work. I think I have 3 levels of filtration. First level is we have an ozonator here. So it does something with the ozone layer. I know it creates these bubbles, oxidizes them, maybe. They use them on fish tanks. They recommend it for this, so we're using a ozonator. We have, the second stage is this filter that is just sitting inside of it. That's like an aquarium filter. And then the third stage is this built-in filter also has UV light. So water gets sucked in, gets hit with the UV light, kills any bacteria that shouldn't be there, and then pumps it right out. But there's no way for me to plumb this into this circuit staying outside of it. I don't want a bunch of stuff in there. because it relies on this filter to be completely submerged. And it's not enough juice to pump it out into here. So we're gonna have water sucked in, sucked out via this pump, and then we're gonna have this filter sitting at the base of the feet, so it's not in the way, and then it'll be doing its UV and regular aquatic filtration. It's all a bunch of nonsense to me, but I know how much it sucks not having this stuff, and your water just goes bad within weeks. I know it looks like a hodgepodge, but let me again explain. So pump in here that's screwed onto my inlet, starts sucking water through here, goes into the chiller, runs it through the Freon and everything, the refrigerant, all that jazz, pumps the cold water out here. Then I have my ozonator right here getting pumped into the outlet system, pushing the ozonated, I don't know what the right word is, oxygenated, ozonated, whatever filtered water through into our tub, and it cycles it through. Now we're gonna take our UV filter and the mesh filter, and we're gonna probably put it underneath that little bench by your feet so that's not in the way, or possibly all the way down by the feet. We'll see which one works best. That doesn't look too bad. The wiring is the only thing that's kind of irritating me. Man, that sucks. These suction cups don't want to hold to save their life. I know this thing's supposed to be plenty submerged, so maybe we can do it. That's actually not bad at all. Right in the corner, kind of out of the way. But these suction cups are killing me. You got to bring out your redneck ingenuity here. 100% waterproof silicone. Has held under mount sinks for years. I just hope I'm mounting it the right direction. Oh. Good thing I verified that. All right, hopefully that doesn't move. This tape doesn't want to stick to the waterproofing flex seal that we put in here. All right, that should be ready in a couple hours. My biggest irritation here is making sure that this area is not cluttered with a bunch of stuff, and this cable is a big problem. In the old horse trough cold plunge, it was just sitting on the opposite side, just over the lid. You didn't really notice it. Here, it's submerged quite a bit down there. It's gonna work way more efficiently. I couldn't find any waterproofing method through the middle, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my calipers, I'm gonna cut this off, probably way further down the road. Get my calipers, measure the thickness of this cable, feed it through, silicone the living snot out of it, and then once it dries, silicone it more, and fingers crossed, it won't leak on us. Just like that, we got a brand new cable. I just got to throw some electrical tape to bundle all together so they're not all exposed, but the heat shrink was the perfect move for this. Plug all the stuff in, tons of things to plug in. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to plug in, so we're gonna need a nice heavy duty. All right, the pump's already going, ozonator's on, chiller's on. I'm gonna disconnect it because you don't wanna run it all dry. Let's fill this puppy up and see if we got any leaks. We'll put the stand on here. I still got to paint with appliance paint this white trim here that we bondoed up, and then we'll fire it up, let it sit overnight, chill as much as we can, and then we'll check back in the morning to see if we got adequate temperatures, and we'll jump in. All right, let's talk about the price breakdown for this cold plunge. The chest freezer was $175 on Facebook Marketplace. $50 for Bondo, waterproofing, and the paint. The aquatic chiller was $600. The $30 were spent on the filter pump with the UV filtration as well. The ozone filter was $30. The water feature pump was $80. And the lumber for all the steps and conceal everything was $200, making this grand total $1,165. All right, guys, here she is. The paint turned out great, super durable. We've already had it out for probably about a week. So the water, this is as murky as it's gotten in a week. And keep in mind, you're jumping in there after a sauna, you're already sweating, so it's kind of your body stuff. But it's not hazy, which is great. And then if we look at our temp probe, our little rubber ducky, we're just sitting at 40 degrees right now, Fahrenheit. 10 out of 10, I love exactly how this turned out. I'm a big fan of the fact that it actually has seals and it has a thinner profile for insulation. Way better than the first generation cold plunge that I built. If you haven't seen it, I'll link a video in this video for you to check out. All of my components are underneath here concealed. All my purifiers, my water pumps, and chillers, and we can use this to get in comfortably, safely, and enjoy a nice cold plunge. 190 degrees, 20 minutes. Let's go check out this cold plunge, see what it's all about. I'm gonna keep the hat on. Ready? 30 minutes, 40 degrees. Here we go. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Yeah. Yeah, this thing works. That's the way it works, all right. Yeah. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Big news, we have a brand new YouTube channel called Mr. Build It Kids, where I build with my kids projects. The idea is to encourage creativity and to teach them how to work with their hands. These are awesome builds, from skateboard ramps to catapults to chairs and board games, all crazy cool stuff. They're learning how to build, they're expressing their creativity, and we're going along with them. I'll link the channel in the description below, and in the meantime, here's a video from my channel I think you might enjoy.